What's up, YouTube? So this episode I'm going to concentrate on trying to come to my own diagnosis on what happened with this car. I've let it idle and it's warmed up. I didn't hear anything really strange. The exhaust has got an average plume of exhaust, I would say. The car's got a different tune to it, certainly. It's been dyno tuned already, so I'm not quite sure, how rich the mixture might be. There is no wideband in the car now, but he's got access port and it's basically showing 14.7 at idle. So, what can I say about that? So I idled the car up to about 3,000 RPM and I let it sit there for, good 10 seconds. Let the car idle back down, and after doing that, just sitting in the driver's seat, I could feel a very, very light misfire. And the cylinder would still be producing a little bit of power, but it's definitely set the firing off of balance. I could just feel that little shimmy in the engine. Is definitely, with every rotation, you get that kind of feeling. So something's going on, and I just want to do my own quick diagnosis and kind of figure out what might have happened, and for going to a compression test and leak down, and that's what we're going to do. So the first thing I want to do is scan it for codes, because the check engine light is on, and I'm sure there's going to be some tells in there lead me more of a direction I think I should go. So I'm going to unplug the access port, and I'm going to plug in my own little scan tool and read the codes with this, and we'll see what's there. So the two pending codes I just pulled out of it both concern the mass airflow sensor, and I would just suspect that it's been unplugged and the codes it's set and no one cleared the codes afterwards, because it's got low input for the mass airflow circuit and high resistance on the intake air temperature sensor. So both codes kind of indicate an unplugged sensor. I don't expect that it's still unplugged, because the car runs pretty good. But I'll start there. I'll undo this air box and just make sure the sensor's all the way plugged in, because I can't really feel my way in there. And then I think we're just going to dig a little further. He was having low power conditions, oil consumption. At one point he had the intercooler off and just literally drained oil out of it. All really not good signs, Usually that stuff's created by blow-by, and if you're getting it past one of the pistons, these things are kind of known for cracking ringlands when you get a lot of boost going on and making more power. It's well discussed in forums. I've had at least one buddy in the past had the same issue. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of dig around a little bit, set up the camera, and see what we can find, if anything. saw, I did find the mass airflow sensor disconnected with the connector just down there like that. And I've already spoke to him, or texted, because I was thinking, well, this car's not set up to just run on the map sensor, is it? And sure enough, it's not. So that's certainly one thing that's been making it run poor, and possibly even that misfire kind of feel. Oil. Well, there is a little bit of oil inside the turbo outlet pipe going to the intercooler. It's pretty thick. My thoughts would be, to try like maybe a catch can or something before getting to the point of tear down or rebuild or whatever. But his main point of this is to upgrade. He really has been planning the upgrade for quite a long time. Subaru did look at this car not too long ago, maybe a couple months ago, and the car's been sitting since. I think I'm just going to go ahead and start taking off some things and dig down to the plugs and go ahead and do a compression test and a leak down anyway, just to see where things are at. You can see started digging my way down to the spark plugs. This side's relatively easy. Just take your air box or air intake pipe out of the way, and the two coils are down there. But over on this side, you have the secondary air injection pump, and its ductwork actually covers getting those coils out, and that coil can be pretty tight, but it will come out of there. So we're actually eliminating this and deleting it during this job, so I might as well go ahead and get rid of it now. So I've got the spark plugs out. This will be number 1, 3, 2, 4, and from what he tells me, Subaru claimed there might be a problem with number 4 cylinder. And from looking at the 4 of them, number 4 has a little bit of white ash buildup on it. Not very much. Maybe the plugs are changed, they look relatively new. But it does indicate possibly a little bit of oil burning in that cylinder. The other 3 look rather good. But the plugs aren't very old, and to see that on a relatively new plug is suspicious. So I think next I'm just gonna go straight for a compression test and see what the numbers are, because I'm really interested to know what the variance from number 4 is to the other ones. So on number 1, we get about 115. Number 3 sitting at about 110. And just so if you're wondering how I'm doing this on this side, I just got a set of cables rigged right up on the battery, and now I can still access down in there. You be careful working in here, you don't want to be snapping this positive lead all over the place. Very easy to do at this point. So on number 2 cylinder, get a little bit higher. It's maybe 118. It's in between 115 and 120. And we've gotten to the problematic cylinder, number 4. Now I have my own report because I didn't get one. But number 4 has 50 psi. It's running half the compression of every other cylinder at least. More like 60%. So I'm going to do a leak down on number 4 and see how bad that it's actually leaking down. Okay, so I'm set up on number 4 for a leak down. I've actually taken the cap off of the air oil separator because that's my number 1 suspect area for where our leak is. So I'm just going to start giving it a little bit of pressure, and I'll start to spin the crank. That should be intake. So we're sucking in our charge. We're coming up on our compression stroke there. That was strange. I don't know if you saw the gauge move there, but I didn't actually move the crank and the needle fluctuated. Give it a 85 psi. We're going to have to wait for the compressor to build now. You can see how much fun this can be. Okay, so the compressor's built back up. And I'm going to start giving it some good pressure here. Did you see that fluctuation? That's strange. Wow, that's neat. I think 80% might be the highest I can get it. You can see that fluctuation as the piston moves there. It just rolled over. So we're coming around again. Should be coming for compression soon. There it is. And I don't know if the microphone can hear it. But we've got about 80% loss to the oil gallery. You can hear that change and fluctuation as the oil's passing by. And then when I take my hand off, you can hear the oil spitting through. It's pretty crazy. So we definitely have a piston sealing issue. So I'm pretty confident in saying that I've identified the problem for sure. It seems like number 4's either the more than likely the piston has cracked ring lands, and They seem to run half decent, and they show all these symptoms and problems, and then finally till you get the piston out and you see a great big crack in the side of it. That's usually the case. This one kind of identifies on the plug that oil has been burning. He's noted that he's been supposedly burning oil because it doesn't leak at all. And I mean, there's signs of blow-by, so everything's there. He's done the right thing by assuming that he needed a block, and now we can just step forward and continue on with this build. Not that we weren't going to anyway, like I mentioned in the first video, but now he knows what the condition of the block is without actually getting down to it and pulling a piston. But we're probably going to end up doing that eventually anyway. It shouldn't be too hard to get that number 4 out and just have a look at it. You may have noticed a couple other things like the cob intake, the cob and air inlet for the turbo. He's got a go fast bits. It's like a 50-50 valve, so it does recirc and it does atmospheric, which I assume the car's been tuned for it. And just a turbo blanket down there. You can see the Grim Speed downpipe already on it. Perrin pitch stop mount. So I mean, there's a few goodies on it in this bar. I'm pretty sure, yeah, it is Cusco. So I mean, the car's got a few things on it already, and he wants to kind of do it right and make big power and not worry about these kind of things happening to it. So, but other than that, for now, at least I have a good understanding of what's going on. And you'd hate to get a whole nother short block into this car, put it all back together, and the thing still misfires or doesn't run properly. So it's better to get an understanding of what you're into before you start into it, because it could be a whole nother issue that you're going to have to attack when you're all back together. And it's better to find out what the actual problem is before coming apart. So now that I've got that clarified, I have no problem taking this thing out and dismantling it. So yeah, sub counter keeps on climbing. Thank you to everyone that hits up subscribe button, and everyone else viewing my videos. Get plenty of views. I've already hit that 4,000 hour mark easy. It was just within a couple days. I didn't realize how close it actually was. And a lot of my view time is actually only maybe 8 months old, 7 months old. So the next 5 months are really going to pick up my watch time, and I'll have plenty hours for the future. If you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button for me. Leave your questions and comments further down below, and I'll see you in the next one.